Welcome back to Entertainment Talk. Today I'm here to talk about the upcoming Spider-Man 3, the MCU version of Spider-Man 3 with Tom Holland in the lead. But I want to talk about the good and the bad of this upcoming particular film. Now, it looks like it's going to be a Spider-Verse film, but, it's still called Spider-Man 3, so I'm still going to call it Spider-Man 3. But it looks like it's going to be MCU's version of a Spider-Verse, a live-action Spider-Verse. We did have, I think it was 2 years ago, wasn't it? Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the animated version from Sony, but this is the live-action one from the MCU. So, a whole bunch of news has broken in the last couple of days. The first of which, well, the oldest of the news, is that Alfred Moloney, or Moloney, is going to be returning as Doc Ock or Doctor Octopus, however you want to sort of say that. Doc Ock, just for whatever. So he played, of course, Doc Ock in the Tobey Maguire, the Sam Raimi films of Spider-Man 2, because there was 3 of those, and then he was in the second one. Interesting. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just list all the bits of news and then go through the good and what I think is going to be the bad, or the parts that don't make sense, or the parts that I would change, I suppose. So Alfred Moloney back as Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2, joining Spider-Man 3. Now, as far as I know, most of the next ones are either in talks or possibly confirmed or maybe confirmed, but not fully confirmed. So you got Jamie Foxx returning as Electro from the Amazing Spider-Man 2. What a great film that was. I'm being sarcastic. I really didn't like it at all. I think it's probably the worst Spider-Man film out of all of them. So you got Jamie Foxx returning as Electro from Spider-Man 2. Then I did read yesterday that I think it's Kristen Dunst, who played Mary Jane in the whole trilogy, the whole Sam Raimi trilogy. She's meant to be coming back. I did hear some small little talk about Gwen Stacy coming back, but I didn't actually see any proper news about that. I just saw some discussion. I suppose it was like, okay, if Mary Jane's returning, why can't you bring back Gwen Stacy? Which makes sense, I suppose. Speaking of the characters that were with them, it looks like possibly Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, who played Peter Parker Spider-Man in the first trilogy and in the double film, I suppose, the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, because Andrew Garfield was in those. So you got that. Then you had news yesterday break that Charlie Cox's Daredevil from the Netflix Defenders shows is again in talks to return to play Matt Murdock, Daredevil, of course, on screen. We last saw him, I think it was in 2018, the third season of Daredevil. The other one that was noted out there, or that was confirmed as well, is Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange is going to be in Spider-Man 3. There's 2 that I know that are like fully confirmed, which is Doctor Strange and Doc Ock, Alfred Moloney, and Benedict Cumberbatch. Now, Doctor Strange makes a lot of sense. I'm not going to spoil the ending of Far From Home either, just in case some of you haven't seen it. This is more a discussion about the good and the bad of this sort of casting and the characters returning and what they're trying to do here. But yeah, you got Doctor Strange coming in. That makes a lot of sense. Matt Murdock coming in as Daredevil, or Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock, Daredevil, coming back in. That makes a lot of sense as well. So yeah, those are most of the confirmed, or not confirmed, sorry, I didn't mean to say that. 2 of the confirmed, Doctor Strange and Doc Ock, and then the others are also all sort of in talks or rumoured, because there was the big news yesterday that was spread around about Daredevil coming back. So I'll start off with the bad, and then I'll get to the good, because I do think that there's more good to talk about here than bad, but there's one very big particular sort of, okay, that doesn't make sense, I have concerns about that kind of thing. So you're basically, what you are trying to do here is do a Spider-Verse Sinister Six type of film, because we've already got Shocker set up, we've already got Vulture set up, we've got Doc Ock returning, we've got Electro coming in. I think you only need 1 or 2 more villains to make the Sinister Six. I think that's 4, isn't it? Maybe. But you need a couple of more villains to make the Sinister Six. So we'll see where they go with all of that. So part of this Spider-Verse, this multiverse thing that they're doing, and I'm all for the MCU's multiverse thing that they got going on here. I don't really want to see. First of all, no disrespect to Maguire and Andrew Garfield, especially to Andrew Garfield, who I feel that his two films were a lot worse. Not down to him. I think they're both very good Peter Parkers and Spider-Man. Um, but I think I myself am ready to just like, okay, let's move on from them a little bit. I just don't need to see them again. That's just me. The part of this that doesn't really make sense and where I'd actually make a change. So if Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield do come back into these roles, you're then going to have three Peter Parkers on screen. Because don't forget the actual lead star here, which is supposed to be Tom Holland as Peter Parker Spider-Man. So you're going to have him in this as Peter Parker Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker Spider-Man, and Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker Spider-Man. I don't really want to see... Now, I've got an alternative in a minute, so just stick with me. I don't really want to see three Peter Parkers on screen and three Spider-Man on screen that... I know that, they're a bit different ages and that sort of thing, and they are a little bit different. Their costumes are different, that kind of thing. They're not the exact same copy of Spider-Man, but they are all the normal version of Spider-Man. This isn't Spider-Man 2099. This isn't Spider-Man Noir. This isn't one of those other different ones. They're all the same version of Spider-Man. The only differences between the three of them is Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man had organic webs, and Andrews, from what I remember from Andrews and Tom's have got the web shooter thing. Those are the only differences in terms of the actual Spider-Man. Because of their Peter Parker personalities are going to be a bit different, but they're supposed to be the same normal Peter Parker that we know. They're a little bit different in age, that sort of thing, but they're supposed to be the same version, just slightly changed in a way. But the only core differences between those three versions is Toby's organic web shooter thing, which basically came out of his arm or something. I thought that was a bit stupid. Not terrible, just a weird idea, but whatever. And then you got Tom's and Andrews, who have the web shooter things. If you're gonna, I'm all for a live action Spider-Man film. I quite liked, I think it was 2018's, like I said, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. But the thing that I like about that, as opposed to what's going on here, almost all of the versions of Spider-Man were different. I know that you did have two different Peter Parkers, but there was like a big story reason for that. I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to spoil Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. But all the others, I mean, you had like Spider-Ham and all these other different ones, and Miles and Gwen Stacy and all these sorts of other ones. To me, if you're going to do a live-action version of Spider-Man, instead of having three Peter Parkers on screen, which it just feels a bit silly to do that. I get the sort of nostalgia, they're coming back, Tobey Maguire is, people love his Spider-Man, that kind of thing. But if you're going to do this, why can't you have a live-action version of, okay, put Tom's in there, because he's the current one anyway, put his Peter Parker Spider-Man in there. Why don't you cast a new... Because we haven't had a live-action version of Miles, I don't think. We've had two different kind of animated ones, because we've got the video game version and we've got the Spider-Verse version. Why don't you cast a live-action Miles, and then... Well, if you bring back Andrew's Gwen Stacy, I can't remember the... his on-screen love interest, that version of Gwen Stacy. If you bring her back, maybe, if you're actually going to bring her back, which was one of the more rumoured things from yesterday, make her Spider-Gwen. Because what I would prefer on screen is to have Peter, played by Tom, and then the actress who played Gwen to return, because it would make sense to do it with her instead of get a new version of Gwen, because that version of Gwen is connected to Andrew's version, and then cast a new version of Miles. I think that would be so much better, and it wouldn't look... I just think it would be really weird to have three... there's probably going to be a scene when they all come together and they all, have this scenery kind of shot of the three of them standing on top of a building or something like that. They'll all take their masks off, so you see all the different the three sort of generations of Spider-Man. I get that, but I think just in order to maybe tell a better story here, I just think it makes more sense to do a live action version of Miles and then bring the old version of Gwen back. I just think that makes sense. And I actually think it would be really good story-wise if Andrew's Spider-Man came back and then his Gwen Stacy came back and then she became Spider-Gwen, and then you could have that come together. It would make more. Now you can still actually do that, and then you can still have Toby's and Andrew's there as well. But I don't know. It just makes more sense to me to do Miles on screen, because we haven't had Miles in live action yet, and that would be really cool. We've had Gwen Stacy on screen, but she's not been Spider-Gwen yet, so that would be really cool. But yeah, that's the bad side that I want to talk about. I don't want that to really happen. I suppose the way that if you're gonna do all these returning characters and stuff, maybe have like a retired version of Toby and Andrew's kind of, or especially Toby's. Have like a retired version of their characters. Do like a Logan style kind of thing with them, maybe, where they're a bit older, they're retired and that kind of thing. I don't know. I just don't want three versions of Peter Parker on the screen at the same time. It might work better than what I think at the moment. It might. I'm not writing the film. I don't know how it's gonna look, but I just think it would be better if you did Miles and Gwen on screen instead. So I feel like I'm the only person who doesn't actually want this as well. Like I'm all for like Doc Ock coming back and Electro and all these other characters that are coming back as well, and especially the Doctor Strange and Daredevil stuff. That's more consequential to the story and more important to the story. It would feel to me like if Toby and Andrew's Peter Parkers came back and they suited up, that would just be a little bit like, I can't think at the moment of what impact that would have on the story other than just maybe a bit of nostalgia. I'm not really sure. So but let's talk about the good parts here. Hi there, and thanks very much for listening. Today I'm here to tell you about our two different affiliate links, the first of which is our Amazon affiliate link. That's where you can shop on Amazon. We can get a small cut of what you spend, but it won't cost you anything extra. So whether you're getting a gift for somebody else or treating yourself, or maybe both depending on the occasion, we can get a small cut of what you spend, but it won't cost you extra. You can find the link to our Amazon affiliate link in your show notes. The second affiliate link for today is our Kualu affiliate link. If you want to get started with a website and a domain name of your choice, you can simply sign up with Kualu using the link in the show notes. They also have a live chat support system that's in the bottom right hand corner as well. So if you need help with getting set up, Kualu will be able to help you with that as well. The links for both of these can be found in your show notes for Kualu and the Amazon affiliate link. If you would like to get the ad-free versions of Entertainment Talks podcast and support us along the way, you can simply sign up over on our Patreon page. You can sign up either as a creator or as a patron. There's no difference there for the time being, and you can get your ad-free podcasts over there. It's a great way to support us on Entertainment Talk and to get rid of the ads and get your ad-free podcasts. You can also support Entertainment Talk on Patreon at the $3 level tier. This gets you a chance to request a review from us of your favourite TV show or film, but it's one per month, so one TV show or film review per month. It's up to you which one you want to choose. We will watch a few episodes of the TV show that you choose, or of course if it's a film, we'll just watch that film and we will review that for you on that month. And then when it gets to the next month, you can request a new TV show or a film review of your choice. That's $3 level tier. That does also of course include your ad-free podcasts for the month as well. Thank you very much for listening and enjoy the rest of the show. So the parts that I think are quite good here, as I've sort of already hinted to a little bit, Doctor Strange being in there for the reasons that he's in there, Matt Murdock as Daredevil coming back. Now there's a lot of reasons why Daredevil being in this film would be very, very good. Now don't get me wrong, Doctor Strange being in there would be or going to be in here is going to be really, really good. The difference there, obviously, with Daredevil as opposed to Doctor Strange, we've had Doctor Strange in the MCU. He's met Peter. He's met Spider-Man. We've already established him in the MCU. The thing that I think is going to be really, really cool and interesting is, okay, if Daredevil does come into this film, and for the reasons he's probably going to be in here, you can then start, because what Disney's really what Disney and Marvel's really trying to do with the whole MCU is like, okay, we brought back the rights to Fantastic Four and X-Men with the whole Fox thing. We've got Spider-Man back, at least at the moment. There's obviously that bit of a struggle there with Sony, isn't there, as opposed to like, what's going to happen with that in the future, because you got the Venom thing and that's not connected yet, and that's a bit of a side story. And then you got Morbius, which had Vulture in the trailer and that sort of thing. So there's a little bit less connective tissue there. But I think what's going to really work here, and what I think they're actually trying to do, is if you're going to have the Fantastic Four and X-Men back eventually, that's going to be really good. That's going to connect to the MCU, just make the MCU this bigger thing, this bigger connected thing as well. I think if you did go over to let's just say the Defenders characters, not the Netflix characters, because they're not Netflix characters, they just had shows that were on Netflix. The Defenders characters, and then you bring in Daredevil and Punisher, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and then all the other characters that were in those shows as well. I think if you revive those shows on Hulu, which is what I've been saying since 2018, since the whole Netflix deal kind of crumbled and all those shows got cancelled, I think reviving them for Hulu makes a lot of sense. FX could work as well, because Disney owns both of those things. You couldn't do it on like ABC or Freeform or something. I know that Cloak and Dagger was pretty dark at some points, but I think you need the advantages of something like a Hulu to bring them back. So yeah, revive those shows for Hulu. Not maybe every single one of them. You can do like some smaller ones, or like you could do what's it called? I can't remember the name of the story, but when Iron Fist and Luke Cage team up. I think it's called Heroes for Hire, isn't it? Do a show like that instead of having them separately, and then bring the others in. But what I was going to say, a good way to bring Daredevil in a connected way to the MCU is to have him show up in this film for the different reasons he's going to probably be in here. I think that's a great way to bring him in. I think that's a good way to bring back a pretty perfectly cast version of Matt Murdock and Daredevil. You probably would then need to, get Vincent D'Onofrio back as Kingpin. Get is it Deborah something, her name, who played Matt's friend. I can't think of her name at the moment for some reason, but bring her back in as well. But bring them in more for the Hulu show. I'm not expecting her to kind of come up in Spider-Man 3. But yeah, I think that opening the door to this whole multiverse thing with WandaVision and Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and then putting Doctor Strange in this film, and then putting Daredevil into this film, just opens up so many doors for what they're going to probably do with this multiverse. And the one thing I didn't want to kind of happen was, okay, you've got really, really good casted versions of Matt Murdock here with Charlie Cox. You've got a really, really good version of Kingpin here with Vincent D'Onofrio, and you've got a really, really good version of Punisher with John Bernthal. Of course, that would be a little bit of a separate thing. I'm not expecting Punisher to be in Spider-Man 3. That wouldn't really make a lot of sense either. But then you could do future things, like you could have Spider-Man fighting with Kingpin, Vincent D'Onofrio's version of Kingpin. Then you could have Daredevil helping him and all sorts of other things. None of those things are kind of happening at the moment, but that's the doors that this could all open up. So that's some of the really, really good parts here, I think, as well. So that's kind of the Daredevil and Doctor Strange portion of this. The other good part, a little bit less so with Electro. Maybe Electro's just kind of, okay, cool, bring him back. That's just sort of an addition to the Sinister Six. Same with Dr. Octopus or Doc Ock. Alfred Maloney was brilliant as Doc Ock in that particular film. I think he's going to come back, do a really, really good job. Who knows, maybe he sticks around for another film, or I don't know, you could do a lot of things with him. as well. I mean, you could even have, again, potential future kind of thing. You could even have a scene either in a Hulu show or some sort of film to where you've got Spider-Man and Daredevil maybe teaming up against Doc Ock and Kingpin. That would be brilliant. Can you think of how good that would be? Yeah, we can dream about those sorts of things, I suppose, as well. There's also been, I think, different comics where like Spider-Man has teamed up with maybe Punisher or something like that. Again, you could do. I just think all these different announcements of Daredevil and all these other kind of characters coming back, and Spider-Man still being there for now. Let's hope that that deal gets greenlit again, because it will need to be greenlit again for the future. There's a lot of potential of what they could do. I think the one actual big obstacle here, as I've kind of hinted to, is the Disney-Sony deal, because it did almost end up getting Spider-Man written out. Now, I never actually thought that was going to happen, because let's face it, there's too much money there for Disney to make, and with the progress that they've made so far with Spider-Man and how, you know, he's a massive future character for the MCU, it would be a bigger loss, a much bigger loss for Disney and for Marvel than it would be for Sony if Tom's Spider-Man or Spider-Man himself did have to exit the MCU. That would be a huge loss at this point, because all those open doors I just sort of talked about, with like Daredevil and Kingpin and Doc Ock and Punisher and all these other different things they could possibly do. If that Spider-Man deal doesn't happen again, you kind of close a lot of those doors, I think, or a big connective part of those doors as well. So that's the other good parts of this as well. And then, yeah, bringing back, Gwen Stacy and Mary Jane will be cool as well. It'd be interesting to see if MJ, the current version of her, she's not actually called Mary Jane, she's called MJ, Zendaya's version, if she, like, talks to Mary Jane, or I don't know, if the three of them have a conversation or something. That would be pretty interesting. So again, lots of cool doors that they could open here, lots of interesting things that could happen. Again, as far as I know, there's only 2 completely confirmed castings here, which is Doctor Strange in Spider-Man 3 and Doc Ock in Spider-Man 3. Daredevil was a bit more the sort of rumoured, almost confirmed, in talks, if you will, kind of thing. But yeah, I just thought I'd share some thoughts. Hey, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong about the 3 Peter Parkers on screen. I just think in my head, if I imagine that, it's just, I don't know. It doesn't really work for me. I'd rather have Miles and Gwen, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and then Spider-Gwen in there. I think that just makes a lot more sense, and it gives us something we haven't actually had before, which is those 3 characters in live action. I know we've not had 3 Peter Parkers in live action, but you don't really need to. I don't know. We'll see how it all works out. But let me know your thoughts, feelings, and opinions, and questions and comments, or maybe if you have some concerns as well about anything related to Spider-Man 3 or the MCU and all the different doors I said that this could all open up. Look, if this all works out really, really well, we could have an even more exciting future for the MCU. And especially in Spider-Man's kind of corner itself. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But you can let me know what you think. Matthew at entertainmenttalk.org, Twitter eTalkUK. There's a contact page and information in your show notes. I believe this film is supposed to be out. I remember they said June or July for 2021. I don't know if that's still the case, because they're obviously still in talks for a lot of different things. So it's not like the film is finished filming yet, or anything like that. They've probably pushed it back, and I've maybe forgotten, because of COVID and all that sort of thing. So I don't know. We shall see. But could be very, very exciting. It could fall apart. This could actually fall apart. I saw a lot of people talking about, like, okay, you got a lot of villains on screen, you got a lot of characters on screen. You could have another Spider-Man 3 situation where there's just too much going on. Like, there's just too many characters and it's just too disorganized. I think to add some positivity to that, because I understand where that's kind of coming from, and that can be a big problem in certain things. One element to that to throw in for positivity, that was not an MCU. That Spider-Man 3 that was too busy, which could have gone a lot better. There were some good ideas there, but it didn't quite work out. That was a non-MCU Sony film without Kevin Feige. Now we've got Kevin Feige there, who has made the MCU a raging success, and now you've got a proper Marvel MCU Kevin Feige's Spider-Man 3 film, where this Sinister Six is potentially coming together. So you've got a big difference there, I think, and I think that could really, really help this film as well. So we'll see how all this works out in the future, and what gets fully confirmed and what doesn't. Hey, maybe when these deals get sort of confirmed or denied or whatever, or at some point in the future, maybe I'll come back and talk about it again, and we can talk about things in a different way. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But that's my thoughts for now. Let me know what you think, like I said. In the meantime, you can find everything that we've done on entertainmenttalk.org. I have, by the way, ranked all the Spider-Man films. I've reviewed Homecoming and Far From Home and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and I've reviewed the PS4 Spider-Man game, not Miles Morales, the 2018 Spider-Man game. So check out all those if you want my different opinions on different things related to Spider-Man. But yeah, like I said, you can find everything that we've got on entertainmenttalk.org. If you'd like to support, if you like what you've heard today and you want to support the Entertainment Talk and get involved in everything, we are on Patreon. You can have a look at the $1 and $3 level tiers for ad-free podcast and review options. Word of mouth, you can tell people that you know about the website and the iTunes feeds, all the different content that we've got. Social media, you can do the same thing but through Facebook and Twitter, in different Facebook groups or whatever else you're using these days. Geektown, if you do want your up-to-date, reliable TV and film news, including whatever's going on with Spider-Man 3 and the rest of the MCU, and your general TV and film news, David's got you covered over on geektown.co.uk. If you search for Geektown on podcast platforms, you should be able to find Geektown Radio on there. That's the Tuesday episodes. Speaking of Geektown, there's the Geektown Awards. If you go to geektown.co.uk/awards, you can vote for your favourite shows, games and films of 2020 and your most anticipated games, shows and films of 2021. So go over there, geektown.co.uk/awards, click the different selections for the different categories, put your name and email in, submit that, and you will also be entered into a prize draw as well. There's also something for the runner-up, so you might not miss out on it entirely. So go over there, vote for your favourite things, and do that as well. Over on Twitch, Bex is streaming daily at the moment over on Twitch. Trista Bytes, Trista Bytes. She's streaming daily. Go check her out for cool, fun, interesting, geeky stuff that she's doing, different video games that she's playing, and general geeky chatter and all that kind of thing as well. I'm streaming on Twitch kind of regularly. At the moment, if you search for eTalk UK on Twitch, streaming some PES, the Master League, and a bit of Last of Us 2 and some other stuff as well. Streamed a little bit of Grounded last night, the Xbox game, so check out all that on eTalk UK for Twitch, and then look out for Let's Play Sundays as well. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.